Now under center, 5-step drop, but he's going to be sacked for the second time tonight.
Will pass on the first offensive play for Arizona, and that one's going the wrong way. Nate Hall with the pick, and he brings it back.
On this drive for Lone Star. Left side, looking for Soto again. The one-handed grab is going to get Lone Star into the end zone for the touchdown. To the house he goes, and it'll be a one touchdown.
18th SFL player and the 8th running back to eclipse 500. Pepper is going to be sacked on the ensuing play. And Lone Star Glory's defensive line coming through, and it's going to be a 3rd and 10.
3 timeouts and a quarterback who's only failed on 1 pass attempt. Burr off his back foot right into traffic and right into the hands of the defender. He was wide open. That's the free safety, Evan Lacey. If he was running the other way, that was a walk-in touchdown. She averages 21.5 carries, 101 yards. Perfectly in sync. Fennick will float it up. Wide open. Touchdown. Ziggy Hronick. His 2nd touchdown of the year.
Early moments of this game.
Lone Star in the with their backs against the wall, but a nice defensive play there as the pressure collapses around the edge, and Lone Star has a sack.
Back on the field, Fury's second possession. See what they can do for it just outside their 20-yard line.
Joseph Green, 3-step drop, has to move around in the pocket, going to take a deep shot left side. This one's going to be intercepted. Bo Martin Jr. spins his way up the field, breaking down the right sideline, and going to be brought down by the offense sidecar right. Quick drop from Green, pressure coming, cool, calm, and collected, overthrown right into the hands of Jay Mart, the linebacker. We all know he can put it away. Play action fake, Joseph Green moving around in the pocket, and pressure comes, and Green is going to get sacked.
Glory drives that were really promising in tonight's game.
Pass is going to be tipped at the line of scrimmage and into the hands of Adam Williams, giving Lone Star a touchdown finally late in the 4th quarter, and they'll take it how they can get it. Williams gets.
Yeah, let's see if Deuce Fennick can make something happen on special teams. Anytime special teams can create a spark, the offense will come out humming.
This will be a spin move. 2 spins. Oh, Deuce, please, out to the 50, and he is going to indeed make a play on special teams. Deuce Fennick to the house. Touchdown for Lone Star, and the crowd is alive. And stole throw. Looks to the outside. No, dropped and intercepted. No way. 2 tips and a linebacker interception, and Lone Star is going to get a touchdown out of this. Pick 6 on the tip drill. Touchdown, Glory. Oh, what a
down. Wilson, short drop again. Wilson, another pick. Off to the races down this left side. Is anyone going to catch him? Albert begins across midfield, across the 20, the 10-5. Book it for Lone Star. A pick 6 for Begin.
On for Finnick, slid back and a handoff up the middle, and there goes McBride. Take it, buddy! Get off of me! No way to the 20! Here, she's gonna take it all the way for a touchdown. What a play, Jeff! Oh.
A little empty with the departure of Axis for a little while there, but it's good to see him back out on the field.
Yeah, absolutely. We are ready to go for this over the right side. That one's intercepted, and that's coming back the other way. Lone Star turns the ball over out to the 45-yard line, and wouldn't you know it, first pass of the drive ends up in the hands of the Lone Star defense.
Fennick gonna go for the over the top, and that is gonna be a touchdown for the Lone Star Glory. Huge play on the corner route. It's 6 for Dave Axis.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome, and thank you for joining us on this glorious evening as we embark on our journey on the road to glory.
Doing great. Happy Wednesday, everybody. This is awesome.
Oh,
Great show, man. You knocked it out of the park last week.
Guess what? I was muted, bro. Oh, my God. I cannot believe I did that in show number 2. All right, everybody. Welcome to the show. Welcome to ride number 2 on the road to glory. I see lots of people in the chat. Man, it's like this is my first show or something like that. Like I haven't done 100 and something shows. I'll get to the chat in a moment. I just introduced my good friend, owner of the Lone Star Glory, Charles Doherty. Charles, I will ask you one more time, how are you doing tonight?
And I will answer again, great.
Thank you. You know what? I thought I might get a different answer. 10 seconds later, you might be a totally different person. Who knows? Also, just wanted to let you guys know, Wednesday nights is happening now. We're not doing Tuesdays, Thursdays anymore. That's old news. Wednesday nights. Tonight was great. We had Crunch Time. We had Tyler's show and then this. So it's a great night in the SFL for shows. For those of you who haven't tuned in before last week, this is a show mostly about Lone Star, but we also talk about the SFL and other things as they happen to come up. So now that I introduced Charles, let me go ahead and check the chat real quick. Who's the first one in? Bullet Boletsky is the first one in, followed by Nate Hall, Ace Phoenix, Pseudo Nakai, Bob Funk, James Troll, Kendra Hall, the lovely, amazing, perfect pink Lisa's in the house, Deuce Phoenix here, Gunny's here, Albert Begin, Chad Rowland is in his house, Ike McBride is here. Good to see you, Ike. Bo Martin Jr., Packer Freddie, my boy, the Greg Soto's in the house. I think I said Bob Funk already. Frank the Franchise Wade is with us. General Cornwall, Zach Holdorf himself, Danny J Rock 37. Good to see you, bro. Let me see, who am I missing? I think that's about it for right now. Looks like there's about 30 of you in here. That was a quick 30 names. But there you go. As you know, tonight, I get ready to introduce the panelists. We'll be breaking down our game against London along with the Lone Star panelists. Plus, we got a couple guests from London to join us. Gunny will be here with his mail call. Bullet Boletsky is going to be kicking off the show here in a moment with his bullet points from ride number 1 from last Wednesday. Frank the Franchise Wade will be back. Nate the Great plays. Mike All, that, and a bag of chips. And, of course, Yogi's What's Up Down South. And we have a guest from the DC Dragons, which is our next game. So let's get this show on the road. Let's get things cracking. In the red corner, last week we had Bo Morpheus Jr. there. Hopefully, Bo Morpheus Jr. didn't leave anything behind. So our guest, our panelists here will not go into the Matrix, but you just never know. In the red corner, my main man, you guys know him from Access Live. You know him from SFL broadcast. You know him as one of the 5 horsemen of the Lone Star Glory. He is my boy, Nate Hall, and his ugly Bengals blanket. Nate Hall, what's up, bro?
Hooday, bitches. That's all I got to say.
Bro,
how you doing, buddy?
Bro, dude, Tennessee lost that game. Cincinnati did not win that game. Tannehill, dude, just hand it off to King Henry a couple times, get in field goal range. Don't throw a ball into, quadruple coverage. It's ridiculous. Come on now. But
whatever.
Either way, you know what? You won. Congrats. Blah, 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 blah,
Thanks.
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Moving on.
All right,
I'm good.
Definitely moving on.
Yeah, get the show started tonight. Looking forward to another great show.
Oh, it's gonna be a great show. We're gonna have a good time tonight. I've got my energy back. I'm about 95%. Last week I think I was only about maybe 75%. So the energy's here, baby. We're gonna party. We're gonna have a good time, and we're gonna have a good party with all the party people. As I see Evan Lacey jumping in the house real quick, trying to sneak in here. And I thought I saw one other person, and Biff Markham. Glad to have you guys here tonight. In the blue corner, weighing in at a slim, I don't know what he weighs. I don't have a clue. But I'll tell you what he is. He's the head coach of the Lone Star Glory, and he's the co-GM of the Lone Star Glory. And I'm talking about one of the heroes from our last game, the one and the only, Albert Begin. Albert, what's up? How you doing tonight, bro?
I'm good, Dave. Thanks for having me. And I am nowhere near slim.
Well, I didn't know what to throw out there, bro. I was just going to throw out numbers. I don't have a clue, man. Yeah. No biggie. All right, folks. So these are your panelists for now. Before we get to Bullet Boletsky, I did want to show just a couple quick things. Just remind everybody, this is mostly a show about Lone Stars. So looking over our schedule, We've been fortunate enough to be one of the 6 teams in the SFL that are 2-0. We go into week 3 against another 2-0 team, a very tough DC Dragons team. And that is going to be our week 3 game. And that game is, according to this, on January 29th at 8:15 p.m. Eastern this weekend. Let's get things going with friends of LSG from around the SFL. We have several of those on the show, and the number one that we're going to have tonight, and he's going to lead off every show for us, is the one and only my good friend Bullet Beletsky. Bullet, what's up, bro? How you doing? How you been, man? It's been a minute.
What's going on, Dave? Glad to see you're up and about.
Yeah, thank you, bro. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you doing these bullet points. I hope that you're going to be able to read them. I hope you're on a computer and not on a phone, because we've got a smaller screen than we used to have on the old show.
All good. I'm on a PC and on my phone, and I got them written on my
and you got the
phone
notes.
nice and big for the old guy. So.
You are triple prepared. Attaboy. All right, well, I will pass it off to you. Bullet point number 1.
All righty. This is for the inaugural show last week, in case anyone was wondering. Okay, first bullet point. Bo Martin Jr.'s voiceover intro for the new show had me thinking that I'd enjoy listening to him read the phone book. His voice is so silky smooth, and his command of the Matrix makes him a double threat. He even coined a new color during the show, bled, blue and red. Don't mess with this guy, SFL.
He did coin a new color. That's right. That was something that only he could do, I guess, right?
Yeah, he is. That guy's magic.
He is magic. Hopefully, he didn't leave any residual matrix over in the red corner. But we'll see what happens as the show goes along. Moving on to bullet point number 2. Charlie, take it away, buddy.
All righty. Bullet point number 2. Charles Doherty seemed to have done everything in his power to choose the least flattering camera angle possible for the inaugural show. Come on, Charles. Less you, more outrageous hats, and buttery Chardonnay shots.
Charles, would you like to take a moment to respond to that?
He's right. I can't argue with that one.
Awesome.
Working process, man.
All right. Bullet point number 3.
All right. Number 3. Greg Soto needs to share that special snack he was working on during the intro with the rest of the party people next time. Sharing is caring, Greg.
Hey, I don't know what to tell you about those Cubans from Miami, but we're not gonna comment on that one. We'll move on to bullet point number 4.
Very good. Number 4. Despite his great insights on all things SFL related, it's virtually impossible to take Mike all seriously when he's munching on a bag of Funyuns.
I can't wait to see what he's going to be munching on tonight. He's actually running a little late tonight, folks, so we're going to push him to the end of the show. So you're going to have to wait till the end of the show to see what he's munching on. All right, Charlie, last but not least, bullet point number 5.
Number 5. As someone very astutely pointed this out in the chat, after discussing his upcoming game strategy, it became pretty clear that Chad Rowland likes to explore holes.
Well, you know what? He's going to be back on the show this evening, so I think we're going to have to ask him about that one, bro.
That's a very good idea.
That is awesome. Well, Bullet, thank you so much for doing this. We'll see you next week when we do it again.
You got it. My pleasure, Dave.
Thanks, brother.
Is there a rule that there are no bullets against Dave Axis?
Yes. Actually, no. On the second to last show that I did on Access Live, he actually did.
I killed him.
Yeah, he killed me. Remember the whole my finger slipped up my nose in the shower thing? Yeah, he brought that bad boy up.
Good man.
Hey, real quick, let me check the chat again. I saw Art Vandelay sneaking in. Bo Morpheus Jr.'s in the house. You better watch out, Nate. And let's see. I think that's about it. Thank you, everybody. Welcome, everybody, to ride number 2 on the road to glory. Thank you, Bullet Beletsky, for your bullet points. It's always fun to recap the previous show. We're going to go back to one more friend of LSG from around the SFL before we get to London. As you know, our good friend Frank, the franchise Wade, comes in and talks about the franchise that we're going to play. I'm going to have him come in now if he's home, if he's here. Frank, are you here? Oh, Frank's not here yet.
I'm here.
There you are. We pushed DC to the end of the show, Frank, and I didn't want to make you wait all the way to the end of the show, so I'm going to let you do your thing now. Then we'll talk to London. We'll talk to DC later. So Frank the Franchise Wade, tell us about these DC Dragons we have in Week 3.
All right, a little history on the DC Dragons. Entered the SFL in Season 5, finished that season with a 5-3 record in that 12-team league. Also made the playoffs, defeated the Santa Fe Gorillas 30-31 in one of the most exciting games in SFL history, taking the title in their first season. Team colors were influenced by the old Washington Wizard colors when Gilbert Arenas played for them. Named because of Jermaine Smith's affinity to Bruce Lee. He was born in the year of the dragon. His middle name is Lee, and they share the same birthday. He chose the dragon not only because of Bruce Lee and Enter the Dragon, but because it is the ultimate serpent and the wisest of them all. Jermaine wanted me to also take a shout out to Gerald Smith that he added side stripes to one of his uniform sets because of Gerald's influence. He says thank you for that. The Dragons have a 24-35 overall record, including their 2 wins this season. Quarterback Shabazz Synergy is 21st in passing yards this season, has only thrown 3 interceptions and only 3 touchdowns. He's been sacked 7 times, which is tied for worst overall. He has a quarterback rating of 92.6, which makes him 6th overall. Running back Kevin Say is 5th in rushing with 251 yards, averaging 4.1 yards a carry. Also has 11 receptions for a 5.1 yard per catch. Wide receiver Jeff Banfield is the team's leading receiver with 7 catches, 109 yards, but it's receiver Josh Gill that has made the most of his 7 catches with 2 touchdowns. And I cannot go without mentioning the tight end. Lauren Prococo has the other TD reception. On defense, Kappa Jones leads the team with 17 tackles, 2 interceptions. Benny the Butcher has 2 sacks, and so does defensive end John Gary. Someone from DC made the comment that they will be 4-0 against the Texas teams this season, and I'm afraid they may have awakened a sleeping giant. Dragons will try to control the clock, but Soto's quick scoring offense might be having them play catch up.
Well, I hope that it goes the way you're talking about. I would love for us to go 3-0, but I know DC, extremely tough team. They're good at winning close games, Frank, and they've got one of the best secondaries, I think, in the SFL.
They've done a good job in building that team. The first season or 2, season and a half, they kind of struggled a little bit, kind of came on at the end of last season, and it's carrying over into this season. I think they've done a decent job building this team.
Awesome. Frank, thank you for the information. Very informative. Everybody's loving it. Next week, we'll put you back in the regular rotation. We just had some problems getting some DC peeps on the show, so I didn't want you to have to wait the whole show to talk about that. So
hey, I'm like a gymnast. I'm flexible.
Hey, that's what I heard about you. Hey yo. All right, Frank, thanks for coming on the show, buddy. Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it, guys.
See you next week, man.
All
right, folks. That brings us to the recap of our Week 2 game against London. Let me go around our panelists first before we bring the London guys in. Charles, first of all, what a crazy, insane back and forth game. I thought we won it, then I thought they won it, and then we won it. It was just, I was on the edge of my seat. This might be the most stressful game I've had or I've watched since we've been at Lone Star. What say you?
Yeah, I agree. It was stressful watching, and just like you said, I thought they had it in the bag late in the fourth quarter, but for some reason they thought it was wise to pass, and we made them pay for it.
Yeah, one thing, Nate, let me go to you now. One thing that was said by me watching it live, as well as obviously the broadcaster said it too, was that on that one play that all Johnny had to do was fall forward. He could have fell for a first down. But when I was looking over the highlights for the game and reviewing the game afterwards, he had about 3.5 yards to go, and I think it was either Yogi or Tina Begin was kind of on his ass. Do you still think that if Johnny could have ran for the first down there, or do you think him trying to throw the ball and not take a sack was the smart play at that time? I think you're muted, bro. You're pulling a Dave Axis right now. What's up?
There it is. All right, my bad. I think, given the situation, he should have probably fell forward just to try. I mean, try to outrun our fast defenders. But he decided to let it loose, and we saw the consequences afterwards.
Yeah, we were very fortunate on that play. Albert, speaking of fortunate plays, not only did we get that interception and then the Soto touchdown, but you yourself iced the game on a tip ball interception. Tell me about that play and how you felt afterwards.
It was a team effort. As usual, we've gone over those drills, and the drill came out. And, I caught the ball. I was very happy, excited that I got the game-winning ball. Overshadowed by a couple things, but yet again, it's a team sport, man.
Yeah. No, a lot of great plays on both sides of the ball down the stretch. I'm going to bring the London guys in a moment. Before I do, I'm going to give you about 2 minutes worth of London clips. I have to apologize to them, too. Last show, I actually forgot to show their clips from week 1. So I want to make sure that I show the clips from week 2. And then we're going to talk to, looks like Benji Matson's going to be with us. It looks like Chad Rowland is here. We may be getting a Mike St. Green sighting. We'll see what happens. But let's take 2 minutes to watch the London highlights from our game this past weekend.
Week 2 of the Simulation Football League continues here across the pond in merry old London, England. The London Knights will take on the Lone Star Glory. Logical empty set choice for the Glory as Fennick is going to fire it. It's picked off. Going the other way near sideline. Can he beat the offense? And he will. It's a pick 6 for London. Touchdown. Let's go.
Emmanuel Blackman coming up with a massive interception right there, taking it back the other way, back within 1 score of the Lone Star Glory. A massive defensive play.
And a masterful play by the corner to go ahead, and he was locked up man-to-man, but just reading the play and understanding it was London trying to even things up here at home against the Glory. Deep pass, far sideline caught. High points the football over the defender, and that's down inside the 10 to the 7. Ben Callia.
And an absolutely phenomenal job being physical with the football.
3rd and goal now, empty set. Pickler over the middle, back of the end zone, touchdown, Mike St. Green, and they're an extra point away from tying this thing up. Tickets, flags, t-shirts, and more. Get the gear the fans wear with Sector 6, 97 Sports Promotions, and the SFL as Callia gets a pass along the far sideline there. He was wide open and able to scoot ahead to the 22-yard line for another fresh set of downs. He is going to set up for his second field goal attempt, a shorty, and that's going to be up and through from 34 yards to take the lead for the London Knights. Empty set for Pickler with a fresh set of downs. Throws it, slants, caught. First down, Callia is going to move the chains.
Into Lone Star's red zone and not take advantage. This is a key time they need to do it.
Big time 3rd down. Pickler finds his man inside the 10, inside the 5. Actually, they'll mark him right at the 5-yard line. 1st and goal. Big time 3rd down here for both teams. Pickler, end zone, touchdown, London. Tiberius Bovine with the big touchdown snag, and he puts London back out in front. Odd a time here to get the ball snapped. Finally gets it. Gonna air it out near sideline. Picked off Austin. What a play by the secondary, Jack Russell.
And there you have it, folks. The London highlights from our game against them this past weekend. Let me welcome in first head coach of the London Knights, Chad Rowland, is with us. Chad, welcome back to the show, bro. Thanks for coming on. How you doing, man?
It could be better after watching that, but
hey, you got to see. Well, those are your highlights, bro.
I know. I'm doing pretty good, man. About yourself?
I'm doing great. Thanks for coming back on tonight. I also have the one and only, not only one of the sexiest tight ends in all of the SFL, but also the director of communications for the London Knights. Mr. Benji Matson is with us. Benji, welcome to the show, bro. How you doing tonight, man?
Doing well, Dave. Thanks for having us on.
Hey, it's my pleasure. And then, do we have Mike St. Green or no?
No.
No, he's not going to make it.
In our hearts.
Always in our hearts. Chad, let me start with you, bro, real quick. You saw the highlights. First of all, Johnny played a phenomenal game until about the last minute and a half. You guys made a great comeback, took the lead, the back and forth. I was mentioning to Charles earlier, that was probably the most stressful game that I've ever watched at Lone Star. Obviously, it was stressful for you guys as well. Was it the most stressful you've had? Was it up there? And tell me about. I mean, Johnny really he played a great game up until the end, and just those couple mistakes down the stretch. And then also tell me your take on. Do you think he could have fallen forward for that first down, or do you think he was too far away?
Yeah, I mean, first talking about the falling forward or whatever. Yeah, I think he could have probably scrambled up a little bit, but he made the decision to fire it over to the side there to MSG, which didn't really pan out well for us. It was a great play by Gunny, obviously, to get the pick, but probably that game for me was probably in the top three. I have to go back to my Baltimore days when we played Atlanta I believe it was Bryant Dynasty's rookie season. That was a really stressful game. I think it was like week one. And then there was probably another one in there somewhere, but that one was up there pretty close. And you could ask Benji too, because Benji was watching The Sims with me. The entire week, I mean, these games were just close. Like we never really, we had some blowout games, but most of them were really close down to the wire games in our Sims. So seeing it happen live wasn't really surprising to me.
Yeah, Benji, let me bring you in, bro. When was it? It wasn't Emmanuel. It was who had that interception for you guys near the end?
That was Jack Russell.
Jack Russell. Benji, when Jack Russell intercepted Ace with about a minute and a half, minute 40, something like that left in the game, did you think you guys had it wrapped up there? Because to be honest with you, I thought you guys did.
There was champagne popping. I thought that one was in the bag.
Yeah, I did too. I mean, what a crazy back and forth game. Benji, talk about Johnny's play up before that last minute and a half with the two interceptions. One of them, obviously, the tipped one to Albert when you guys are trying to come back to take the lead to win the game with just seconds left in the game anyway. But up until the Gunny interception, talk about Johnny's play and how well he played this week.
Yeah, I thought he was super duper this week. We kept him upright, only sacked one time after Baltimore kind of turned us inside out in week one. We know that everyone kind of hit the weights hard this week, and we did a ton of practice, and we were simming all the time. We had some great ideas. We knew the London offense, as we know it, was there, and we just needed to be patient with it. And we thought he played a fantastic game. I mean, anytime you throw 50 plus passes and you complete 80+% of them, it was a stellar effort. We knew it was going to probably be a shutout. No, we didn't expect that we were going to run all over Lone Star, so we knew we'd be slinging it. And I think to see after it's all said and done, take away maybe what we could call the key big plays down the stretch in that fourth quarter, and you take those away, and just kind of consider the whole ball game as a work of art. And Johnny was masterful. I thought he performed really well. So an improvement across the board for the entire team too. But Johnny played extremely well.
Yeah, I agree with that. Albert, let me bring you in for a second. During the Sims this week, or last week, I'm sorry, the toughest things that we were dealing with London, did they end up being the toughest things in the game, or did the game go differently than the Sims went?
The game actually went a little different than the Sims. We had more of, even though Ike did great, we had more of a run dominancy on them from the Sims. Passing wise, we had a tough time shutting down all their great receivers. I'm not gonna lie, but we came out there, we handled it very well, better than we expected.
That's good. Yeah. Chad, real quick, when you were on the show last week, you talked about having a plan for Adam Williams. Adam did have, I think, maybe a couple big catches, but I think otherwise was pretty quiet. Did your plan work on Adam, the plan that you had for him, or how did that go? How did that play out?
Yeah, one of the things two things I wanted to do was either, to neutralize Adam Williams and to neutralize Ike McBride. Ike had, one really good run. and it really did a good job in the game. But my thinking was having you and Soto beat us, which may not have been the best idea in the world, but and you guys did. I mean, you guys did exactly what I was hoping you wouldn't do. Greg Soto had that last touchdown, and I thought Adam Williams would be more of a factor, but he wasn't, which the plan worked. But offensive, our side of the ball, I mean, we haven't run the ball effectively at all in the entire time that I've been in London. And, it's something that, we're really working on, not only in the offseason, but this season. That's what happens when you're quote unquote a one-dimensional team. You're going to get your ass kicked. And I've said this, over and over again, and, trying to work on that, and hopefully we can get that fixed and right the ship for us.
Right. Nate, let me bring you in real quick. You do a lot of broadcasts for the SFL. From a broadcaster's point of view, how amazing was that game? How amazing would it have been to announce that game?
Oh, as a broadcaster, it's one of the games you want. I mean, as far as being close and back and forth like that, you definitely being that close keeps the excitement up all game long. You never know what's going to happen the very next snap. I mean, just the back and forth of it all. London was on top there in the third quarter. Then we come back and they score again. You just live for those kind of games as a broadcaster, and I know those guys had fun on the call for sure.
Yeah, they certainly did. Before I go back to Benji, Charles, let me bring you back in here. As you see this dangerous London team go forward, they've got Mexico City coming up next week. They've got our whole division that they have to play, just like we have to play theirs. What do you see out of this London team moving forward? They had the game against Baltimore, which is Baltimore. They had the tough game, close game against us on the road, which they almost pulled out. Or I'm sorry, we were on the road. They were at home. Where London plays tough at home. I think they travel to Mexico City, if I'm not mistaken, next week. What do you see for London going forward?
I think Chad mentioned it. They have a very high-octane passing offense. I think in order for them to continue their success, they're going to need to balance it out a little bit more. I'm not saying 50-50 or anything, but when you're going up against some of the elite teams like Mexico City, I would put them as one of the elite teams. One-dimensional is not the answer.
Yeah, I agree with that. Benji, let me last question for you, bro. You guys speaking of Mexico City, talk to me about this Mexico City game on the road. It's a tough game to have to travel to Mexico City when you're 0-2. How do you feel? How does the team feel? How's the vibe in the locker room, the confidence level moving into week 3, traveling to Mexico City?
I think we're confident. I think it's a slow start. We were put in the unique position that the Lone Star Glory you guys had a really unique week 1, and so we didn't get the league mandated minimum amount of tape on the Glory heading into week 2, and we know that playbook of yours is stacked. You guys have got at least 150 plays in there, because we got to feed all of you guys on that team. So, coming into week 2, we only had a very small percentage of what we assumed was, of that playbook, and so London really kind of had 2 week 1 games to open the season.
Yeah.
We saw what you rolled out against Queen City. Queen City is a different beast than preparing for London, so we knew that even though we saw that sliver, we could almost guarantee that something completely different when you guys came to town. So we made our best. We put our best foot forward. I think we saw a definite improvement in what we were trying defensively. We thought did work out for all things considered. We performed well there. So then going into week 3 against Mexico City, teams are starting to settle in a little bit. Mexico City looks at us, and I think they probably are confident in what they're preparing for. And we know that they're a very talented team across the board, and they've expanded that roster a bit in the offseason, add some firepower. So it's a unique lineup that London has to account for defensively. Then offensively, we're always continuing to, we're going to push the envelope a little bit. We're trying to find the edge, and I think that's London ball, and there is room there to have that complementary running game. It's just we're off to the races here in season 18.
Yeah.
I think it's going to take a while to tune it up a little bit, but I think the confidence in the locker room is still there. Everyone's upbeat. We're excited for the season, and it's still brand new. So there's a lot of football to be played.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said there. I think the other thing that we can all agree on is that, number one, it was an amazing game. It was an exciting game. Everybody was on the edge of their seat. The back and forth was just, exhilarating. And either way, if you guys had pulled out and we lost, it still would have been a great game. I think it was definitely the game of the week and maybe even a potential early game of the season in the SFL. So I want to thank both of you guys for coming on. I did want to give Chad last word if he had anything else he wanted to say before they sign off.
This is going to make me barf. So I got to live up to the bet here. I do have to admit that if we're looking at the underwear of Greg Soto, I am the skid mark in that underwear compared to his coaching style. He just outshined me. He outdueled me. I tried. I think I have to get prepared for a reach around because I think I owe him one. He definitely outcoached me for sure. God, I can't even try to say this without. I feel like I'm gonna barf just saying this bullshit.
Hey, do it like a shot. Just do it. Get it over. Rip the Band-Aid off, bro. Rip the Band-Aid.
Yeah, that's what I told my prom date. But yeah. So I mean, like I said, but overall, I mean, it was a fantastic game. And it's always great to play against friends, obviously. And I'm glad that I was in Ohio. In Mason, Ohio, celebrating my niece's birthday, because if I had to sit with Greg Soto while that would have happened, I would have had to bring industrial can of lube and get ready to do whatever he wanted me to do, because he obviously beat me. So props to Greg Soto, props to the rest of the coaching staff. You guys did a phenomenal job. We're like Benji said, we're moving on to week 3, and playing a Ramos led team is always tough. 5 wide receivers. I think they're the only team that has 5 wideouts, and of course, you have one of the best running backs in the game, Phoenix Jones. It's going to be a definite challenge. But once again, thank you guys for having us on. And once again, I am the skid mark in Greg Soto's tighty whitey undies. So take it easy, boys.
All right, Chad, Benji, thank you so much for coming on. Thanks for being good sports. We love playing against you guys. We love and respect the London Knights franchise. We've got a lot of great friends over there. And good luck in week 3 against Mexico City. All right, folks.
Thank you, Dave.
All right, Chad, take it easy.
Are you still here? I thought he ran.
I was like, I wasn't sure. I did have that long pause there for a moment.
I was wanting to run to the bathroom, to be honest. But, it is what it is.
I figured you had a little trash can there ready to go anyway.
Oh, I guarantee it.
All right, bro. Take it easy.
Have a good night, gentlemen.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. All right, folks. Chad Rowland and Benji Matson from the London Knights. Great sports, great friends of Lone Star. We love and respect that franchise a lot. We got a lot of good friends over there, so we appreciate them coming on and living up to the bets just like we would have done if we had lost. Wrapping up the preview now, the recap now for the London and Lone Star game. We're going to bring Nate in. It's time for Nate's Great Plays of the Week, Week 2 at London Queensway. And Nate, I'm gonna try real hard not to mess this up. This is the first time we're trying this. So basically, we have 6 top plays. Nate has ranked them, and he'll talk about each one, and then I'll play the clip, and hopefully I don't screw it up. So, Nate, what's number 6 on your top 6 plays from the London Lone Star game?
At number 6, tied at 17 apiece in the third quarter. None other than our safety, Evan Lacey, making this amazing play in our backfield.
Come on, Dave, don't screw it up.
I'm trying.
3 wideouts for Pickler to work with in the gun. Over the middle, picked off. Lone Star responds on defense themselves.
All right, look at that. 1 down, 5 to go. I haven't screwed it up yet. Nate, number 5.
Number 5. at a tied ball game at 7 apiece in the first quarter. Our tight end, Adam Williams, otherwise known as Worm, makes this incredible play.
Fennec under center. He's going to take a long drop, penalty marker on the field. He's going to air it out. He's got his man. That's Williams, the tight end, with a huge catch down the field, but we'll have to see what the marker is.
Hashtag throw it to the tight end.
Hashtag throw it to the tight end. That play set up a touchdown.
Perfect. Number 4.
Number 4, early in the fourth quarter, our amazing running back, Ike McBride, pulls off this amazing run while I believe we were down at the time 20-17.
After a week 1 loss to the champs in Baltimore. Hand off, McBride burying defenders, and she's off to the races. Is anyone going to catch her? 30, 25, 20, 15. Tackled right near the 10, inside the 10 to the 8-yard line. What a rumble by Ike McBride.
Field, not just her best run of the game, but her best run of the season as she finds her way down.
She's getting the bonus coverage.
What a phenomenal effort by her getting down the field. And that's exactly, if you're Lone Star Glory, what you need to have happen. And, wow.
And that play would set up a touchdown to help us retake the lead.
Before you go on to number 3, a couple things in the chat. Apparently, Frank the Franchise Wade doesn't have any confidence that I was going to do these correctly without messing up. And Art Vandelay, that's a huge LOL based on what was discussed earlier today. All right, Nate, play number 3 from the Lone Star at London game.
Play number 3, our amazing cornerback, Gunny, Mickey and McGuire, while London was ahead trying to salt this game away, comes up with this amazing play in the secondary.
They might play it here, Cade. 4th and inches, 1:07 frozen on the clock. Pickler will take the snap. He steps up. He's going to throw. Far sideline picked up by a Lone Star. Glory will get the football back off a clutch interception by Mickey McGuire. Picks just like that, and that will set Lone Star up beautifully.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. You know, from the point where he threw the football, if Pickler just falls forward.
Attaboy, Gunny.
There you go. All right, number 2. None other than the other safety back there in the defensive backfield, Albert Begin. Once we had the lead late in that fourth quarter, he knew it was time to step up and comes away with a huge play for us on defense.
Pickler from the gun, over the middle into coverage, and it's picked off. Lone Star will ice the game off another Johnny Pickler interception. Albert Begin calls game.
Coming up with a absolutely massive takeaway off of the tip drill right here. You can tell he's been practicing.
And I guess that only leaves the obvious now, Nate, right?
That leaves the obvious, last but certainly not least, our very own Cuban missile, Greg Soto, on the ensuing drive after Gunny's interception, knew that we need to score on offense and comes away with this amazing, amazing play for us late in this game.
Deuce with the catch, 33 on the clock and counting, gonna air it out past the defense. Lone Star has it. They're gonna be into the end zone. Touchdown, Greg Soto, as they take the lead.
And the defense, Soto, you, Soto, me, Soto in the end zone as he finds a way. And London just is scratching their heads as they cannot figure out how he found a way to get behind.
Yeah, Greg Soto in the chat saying he loved that call from the booth. As we all did. It was a great call. Not only that, I think that whole game was who called that game? Cade and who called that game?
It was Cade Stevens and his
best friend
E.K. Vincent.
E.K. Vincent. There you go. Yeah, I always know Gunny's always around for that. It's always harder. There's so many names in this league now. It's so hard to keep track of everybody. No, E.K. Vincent, which I should know. He was on our other show many times. Yeah, him and Cade, dude, they had a blast on that game. You could tell. Before we move on from this, real quick, just one quick question. Gunny's number 3, Albert number 2. I don't know. I'm kind of maybe thinking those should be flip-flop. What do you think? What was the reasoning behind that?
I think that Albert's interception at the very end is what sealed this game for us. Yes, Gunny's interception helped us get that all-important touchdown late in that ball game, but Albert's is what sealed it for us in the end, and that's why I had him in that order.
Sounds good. All right, Nate. Thank you for that, bro. Can't wait to see what your top plays are going to be next week.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it, bro.
Thanks, man. All right, folks. Last week, we had some technical difficulty with my main man, Gunny. We've got all of that rectified now, and Gunny is going to be here debuting this week what we call Gunny's Mail Call.
Can you? Yeah, you. It's time for Mail Call.
Gunny, are you with us?
Yes. The mailbox is open.
The mailbox is open. So for those of you who maybe didn't hear last week, what Gunny's going to do, what Gunny's Mail Call is, he's going to talk about and introduce anywhere between 1 to 3 members of the Lone Star Glory to kind of let people know and get to know some of the people that are on our 23 player roster. So, Gunny, with no further ado, take it away, Gunny's Mail Call.
Welcome to Gunny's Mailbox. We hope everyone is having a glorious night, and we wish all teams good luck in Week 3 action. Now, on to introductions of a few good men and women of the Lone Star Glory. First up, second-round draft pick, 34th overall, our fullback, number 48, Mateo Pravada. He is an alumni of the Ottawa Cavalry. His real name is James Kuchma. He is a Marine veteran, and he currently resides in St. Louis. Hoorah! James found his way to the SFL via his best friend from the 7th grade, our very own Charles Doherty. Mateo, welcome to the team. Next up, we have Ike McBride, number 34, supplemental draft pick in season 15 draft. Real name, Doreen, comes to us from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and Plano, Texas, where she is a divorce attorney. Doreen's player name, Ike McBride, and number 34 is in honor and memory of her mom. The reason why I share this is because I also share my number in memory of my own dad. So Doreen and I have this, we share this bond together, so we do enjoy it. Doreen's, in 3 seasons, Ike has amassed 702 carries, over 3,200 yards, 26 touchdowns. Also, in the playoffs, she's amassed another 700 yards and 4 touchdowns receiving. Ike is a valued and vocal cheerleader in the locker room. She is part of the SSFL stats crew. How did Ike McBride find the SFL? She is Charles Doherty's sister-in-law. Ike, wishing you another season of 1,000 yards rushing. Last but not least, the orchestra leader of all things glorious, Charles Doherty. Charles joined the SFL in season 12. Season 12, he played as an undefeated rookie named Lee Pato for the Atlanta Swarm. That season, he left the Atlanta Swarm to enjoy the draft experience. In season 13, he was drafted by the Vancouver Legion as running back Pseudo Nakai. In season 13, he was Offensive Rookie of the Year. Season 14, Pseudo Nakai was Offensive Player of the Year. In season 15, he applied for ownership of he was approved for ownership of the Seattle Tyrants and moved them to Lone Star. In season 15, Lee Pato returns to play cornerback. In season 16, no player participation. In season 17, Pseudo Nakai returns to play fullback. In season 18, Lee A. Sitz signs with LSG as punter. The L in this name is for his grandson Liam, and the name A is for his granddaughter Ava. Charles is also a proud military veteran serving in the United States Navy. Salutes to you, Sir Charles. This has been your first installment of Gunny's Mail Call. Carry on with the rest of the show. That is all.
Gunny, thank you so much for that. Appreciate that. Love the detail. Love the information. Can't wait to see who you have next week as we let the rest of the SFL get to know the glorious members of our Lone Star team. Gunny, thank you so much.
I almost felt like I was in trouble when he was reading out, what was it, season 17?
Yeah. No.
Charles did not participate. Oh, no.
But Gunny talked to him, and he brought his ass back in season 18. Oh, my God, that was great. All right, Gunny, thank you again, buddy. All right, folks, this is the part of the show where we are going to move on to talk about our next game. As we mentioned earlier at the beginning of the show, we have our Week 3 game scheduled this Saturday at 8:15 p.m. against another 2-0, the undefeated DC Dragons, a very tough team. Just came off a thriller win against Fort Worth this past weekend. And we are going to, first of all, talk about that. And then we have a guest from the DC Dragons that will be coming on the show. But before we bring our guest on, Charles, let me start with you. This DC Dragons team, I think this is only their second season back. After being gone for a while. They took it on the chin. I think it was last season, right? It was their first season because they took it on the chin for like the first 6 or 8 games, and their very first win of all time coming back was them kicking our ass. And I think the running back there ran for 280 yards or some ridiculous thing. And then since then they kind of got their mojo, and this season starting things off 2-0. Tell me the tough things about this DC team as we prepare for them this weekend.
Well, they've got on offense, Kevin Say at running back is a beast. It's one of the highest, if not the highest valued players in the league. And he shows on the field. I mean, they know how to use him well in catching and running. Synergy is a veteran quarterback, and he gets hit, but he bounces back there, and he still slings it. They've got 4 wide receivers, 2 golds and 2 silvers maybe, but that as well as 2 tight ends. So it's like trying to figure out, pick your poison. And then they've got 4 good cornerbacks and 2 solid safeties. So, we've got, I don't want to sound like a cliche, but we do have our work cut out for us. I mean, they are 2-0, and there's a reason. I mean, you mentioned them starting behind the curve when they first started out, but that, they started out with a lot of rookies, and they still were competitive. So lots of respect to the coaching crew and the ownership of DC.
Albert, before I bring in our, by the way, defensive back guest, talk to us about this defensive backfield. John DeSantis, you've got Kappa Jones back there, you got Kanye Rockefeller. They've already got, I think, 3 or 4 interceptions. One of the DBs is even leading the team in tackles already. Talk to me about the DC defense overall, but mostly about this secondary of theirs.
Their defense is very tough. They've been coming out in a lot of the 4-3. Believe it or not using those corners, but when they get those corners in there, they throw you for a loop. And that's where all those picks are coming from. As for the backs themselves, Kappa Jones, I actually had the pleasure of being on the same side of the ball with him at one point in QCC. Very good player. Very great build for him. He'll surprise you with a lot of those picks. Like last week when they played Fort Worth. The corners themselves, there are a lot of them. You got 2 of them that are fairly new, and then you got 2 kind of veterans at corners there. So, they're a tough ball hawk team, but they can also stop the run. They're a very good, rounded defense.
Well, let me introduce our guest from the DC Dragons. He is one of the cornerbacks that you mentioned. He's from Hamilton, Canada. He is the number 1 ranked corner for the 2-0 Dragons. He was drafted by the Dragons out of Madison. He was part of the Madison Lynx crew. He was a free safety there, converted to cornerback. He is a self-employed entrepreneur, musician, streamer, and father. He coaches touch football for his kids and now works part-time as an official for flag football in Canada. And I am speaking of the one and only John DeSantis. John, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on tonight, bro. How you doing?
Thanks so much for having me, man. I'm excited, man.
Yeah.
You guys break this league down, and it's really exciting to see how much passion you guys got behind it.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. I appreciate you coming on. Let me just go straight to the obvious. You guys have a ridiculous backfield. Kappa Jones is leading your team with 17 tackles. He's also leading you guys with 2 interceptions. Kanye Rockefeller has an interception. You're the highest ranked corner. I'm not sure if you're the highest ranked DB, but I know you're the highest ranked corner. Tell me how you guys have become such a fearful defensive backfield in only 2 seasons after having to draft all these rookies.
Owner. Love this guy. And honestly, like, I got a really cool draft story that I want to tell you guys before I do go. But this owner, man, I believe in this guy, and that's the why I'm a Dragon, man, and that's why I'm not going anywhere. Because I really like the owner. I've had a lot of good talks with him, and I didn't realize that he was a veteran and that he like had a team before, even when I came into the league.
Right.
So I didn't even start at Madison Lynx. I was a backup free safety, and I talked to this guy, and he was like the guy that I really liked, and I wasn't even gonna get drafted by him. I had like this other guy, the coach actually for the Madison Lynx at the time, said he was gonna draft me. So at the time, I got all suited and had a nice suit on, everything, and I got all ready to go. And because they had the camera and everything that like to show you and everything as rookies at the time,
right?
So it's like I got a suit and everything, bro. I was like all ready. He's messaging me the night of the draft. He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna draft you," and I'm like, all right. That time comes, and he drafted the guy that was ahead of me. And he didn't draft me, and then he messaged me. He's like, "No hard feelings, right?" And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's cool, it's right." And I just kind of was like, "All right, I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna log off right now, right? I'm backup. I wasn't gonna get nothing." And then the next day, I woke up to messages. "Congratulations, you got drafted. You got drafted." I was like, "What? I got drafted?" And then I watched the replay, and it was the commissioner going. He was dressed in a suit. I saw him. But he left because he didn't know he was going to get drafted. And I got drafted by DC after one conversation with the head coach. And ever since then, I've like fallen in love with this coach, man. He's got a great philosophy, and I'd build the team the exact same way if I was building the team.
That's awesome to hear. That is an awesome draft story, actually. And I actually kind of remember vaguely somebody being in a suit and not showing up. I remember Cam talking about that. For those of you who don't know, he's talking about Jermaine Smith, the owner of the DC Dragons, who had a DC team before. And then Charles, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't he gave up his team to become part of league staff? Is that correct?
I don't know if he I know he went to league staff. I don't know if that was
the reason or not.
Reason why he left ownership. I don't know all those details.
Okay.
But he spent a long time doing the now where most everything is automated. He was before then. It was mostly it was Jermaine. I mean, a lot of credit to Jermaine for working behind the scenes. I don't think he nearly gets enough credit as he should. All the hard work he put into helping the kind of the backbone of the league for seasons before we got this automation in.
Yeah, exactly. Also over in DC, the general manager and head coach Steve Mullinax, the defensive coordinator Kanye Rockefeller, and then they've got a nice scouting team over there with Mike Churchill, Saeed Gore, and John Gary. John, let me ask you: are you surprised that you guys are 2-0 this early in the turnaround? This is you've only had DC's only been back for a season plus 2 games. You guys took it on the chin for about the first half of the season last season until you got your first victory against us of all teams. Do you guys think you're maybe ahead of the curve where you thought you would be? Did you think it was going to take another season? Where do you feel you guys are at that point?
Well, I'm not too sure how much like the owner wants me to say too much, but I remember having a 3-year plan with him, and year 1. I was really faithful, and I know there was a lot of losses, and it it was funny because everyone's all excited in the beginning of the seasons, and I'm Ron. It's me and the quarterback, and a couple really guys like Rockefeller, the quarterback, the running back. We got a lot of guys that are like really committed in the locker room, and I'm trying to like rah 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 with them every week. And it's funny how like all the other guys kind of, it started to slow down as you started to lose, as like any locker room, right?
Right.
And it was really exciting when we started to win. And now in the second season, I think that, we're going to get more to a competitive to, average to above average. And then year 3, I think we're going to be one of those teams.
Yeah, it sounds like Jermaine's got a great plan. It sounds like your whole team is bought into it, which is very important. Last question before we let you go. As you see this game coming up, and you don't have to give away any secrets or anything like that. I just want your personal opinion. You're coming to Lone Star. I don't know if you've seen the way we played the last couple games or not, but this weekend, 2-0 teams going head to head. How do you see things panning out this weekend, DC at Lone Star?
It's me versus you. I'm pretty damn sure.
Are you you're the number 1 corner?
Yeah. Oh, it's so you, last time we played,
it's you against Soto, bro. I'm number 2.
Oh, okay. I remember last year. I think it was me and you matched up. There was a couple times me and you matched up. But either way, I'm excited about the game. I'm excited about your team. I'm excited about the league in general. I'm like a fan. I'm starting to become a real fan of this organization and like of the league and like how many people are dedicated. Content like this. There's some really good guys out there in this league, obviously, and the owner is like, you can tell it's just like one of those guys that everyone loves. Cam. I had a good conversation with him. I booked a couple of interviews talking with him, and it made me feel better about being a part of this league and seeing this stuff with you guys. Like, it's really cool to see, and I love watching your show, man, and keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Just one last quick question. Against DC, I had a touchdown. Was that off of you? Were you guarding me when I got my touchdown?
Oh, maybe, but if so, we're going to get you this year.
I'm passing you off to Soto, bro. Who's your number 2 corner? Who's your number 2 cornerback?
Yo, my number 2 is Peanut. My dude Peanut, but honestly, you got to worry about Kappa, man. My dude Kappa coming through these last 2 games, and it's been a real defensive match the first half of the games, but the second half we were really taking the lead for most of the game there, and kind of ended it with that field goal at the end. But man, Rockefeller and Kappa Jones, man, you gotta pick your poison, man.
Well, you know what? Do me a favor before I let you go right now. After I let you go, I meant. Go ahead and let Peanut know I'll be DMing him tonight after the show and tell him what's up.
Yeah, no problem, man. I'm excited, man, and thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah.
And thanks. It's nice to see all you guys and meet all you guys, and thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on, John. Really appreciate you. I love your enthusiasm, and nothing but love and respect for your organization, just like we have for London. And look forward to having fun and playing you on the field this weekend on Saturday.
Thank you, man. Good luck, guys, and thanks for having me.
All right, take care, bro.
Take care.
All right, folks. Number 1 corner for the DC Dragons, John DeSantis, our guest tonight. Let me go to you, Nate. First of all, what a great interview. Dude, you could tell his love for the league. He's very passionate. He loves the DC Dragons. What do you see in the DC Dragons in this first 2 weeks of this season versus the way they played last season?
Just their grit. Like on every play, they bring it, and not only that, but their balance on offense. It's just the way they had a little bit of a problem with their quarterback last year, throwing. Not playing as well as, but of course it's their first season last year, so there's some growing pains there, and obviously that had to take place. But just this season, they're playing so much better so far, mixing the run with the pass on both games, have a well-balanced attack, and they're going to give our defense, fits.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be interesting to see how it plays out, though, this weekend.
I just hope Kevin State doesn't rush for another 200 and some odd yards. That's my biggest thing.
Yeah, and guess who gets to call our game on Saturday? I just looked at it.
Who is it?
EK Vincent and K.
Are you kidding me? You know what? I bet they requested our game. I'm gonna DM EK after this and be like, "Did you request our game again?" You know you love calling those Lone Star games.
Yeah, they just released the list of games, and
Awesome.
they're the one to call their game.
All right, Nate. Thanks, bro. All right, folks. I mentioned earlier that Mike All was running a little late, but Mike All is in the house. We did not get a chance to set his camera up. I had to wing it in the background while we were talking to John. But this is the segment where Mike All comes on, all dat and a bag of chips, and he just pretty much has free reign to talk about whatever he wants to, but there is always one stipulation. He has to be eating chips. So first of all, let's see if we even got this up. We do have it up. Mike, what are you eating tonight, bro? How you doing? Oh, you're muted, bro. Are you muted?
No, I'm not muted.
Oh, there you go. Are those nacho cheese or spicy?
Nacho cheese, baby.
That's nacho cheese. Are you kidding me? Dude, those are my favorite chips of all time.
Yeah, I mean, they're freaking delicious, Dave. That's why I'm eating them.
Freaking delicious, Dave. All right, they're freaking delicious, Dave. Somebody clip that for me, please, would you? That would be amazing. Mike, I'm glad you got home in time. Welcome back to the show. What do you have for us tonight?
Well, first, let me just say, man, I love that energy of DeSantis, man. That was a great
Right?
interview with John DeSantis there.
Yeah, he's very passionate, very motivated.
Yeah, he sounds like a really good dude, and Jermaine's lucky to have him on his team.
I
think I want to talk about tonight. I want to talk about something that just came up recently, and I know there's going to be an article coming up about it. And I kind of want to ask your opinion on this, Dave.
Okay.
What do you think about players that a couple weeks in decide to just bail on a team?
First of all, I think it's terrible. If somebody's bailing on a team only 2 weeks in, that's something you could have done in the offseason. You could have let your team know well before this. And if you're 2 weeks in, it doesn't take a lot to be a player in this league. You have to go in and it take about 30 seconds to click a button to progress. And if you can't do at least that bare minimum for your team, to be honest with you, I don't want you on my team.
True. Now, let's be fair. Let's play devil's advocate here, Dave.
Okay.
Some people do have good reasons. Maybe it's a difference in philosophy going forward. Maybe there's been some headbutting. There's something in real life that's come up.
Real life stuff I get. Difference in philosophy, you probably already knew that 2 weeks before.
Possibly. But if you're a player and you don't have full say or even know what's going on with the coaching staff and what they're doing, who's to say? I don't know, Dave.
Well, what's your take on it then?
Well, I understand there's some situations that could come up. There was a recent situation. I don't know what's fully behind it, but I don't know that I agree with it. I can say in my own case, there is a player on my team who had a history of issues with teams and bailing during the season. He, however, came to my team, had a lot of talks with myself and with Frank. We worked things out with him, and he's been a great king the last season and a couple of games that he's been on the team, and I'm happy as hell to have him. And I completely, took at face value everything he told me about what happened, and ever since then he's been a great king, and he's played great for us. I definitely on other situations I definitely agree. Bailing on your team a couple weeks in, not a good look. Not a good look, Dave.
I agree, it's not a good look. Like I said, and I'm going to get some opinions from the panel too here in a minute. But if you're leaving for personal reasons, if you whatever, work, COVID, family issues, whatever, death in the family, sometimes a death of a family member can take weeks and months to take care of everything. But if it's a player that's doing it solely because they don't like being there anymore, they don't want to play that position or something lame like that, do it in the off season, or man up and at least fulfill your commitment and finish the season. That's my take on it.
That's a solid take, Dave.
Thank you, bro. Let's go around the horn here real quick before we go to Yogi after this. Charles, what's your take on something like that?
Barring extenuating circumstances that Mike alluded to, you just ride it out. There's no excuse. I mean, if you give up on your team and you don't have a good reason, meaning your real life issue that takes you away from it, there's no excuse.
Yep, I agree with that. Albert, let me. There's a wink through a question in the chat. Said, "What if you are guaranteed something from a team, and then a few weeks in, that team has not held up the deal? Is that too early to quit? Do you give them more time with the deal? Does that factor into what we're talking about as far as you're concerned?"
Believe it or not, through everything with what you're asking, I think if you don't get what you asked for, I mean, suck it up for one season. I mean, you can always go somewhere. That's the beautiful thing about not having long-term contracts
Right.
in the SFL. I mean, just suck it up. Okay, you didn't get it, so now you know the guy or the team is a liar, and you move on. Yeah, does it taint your experience in the SFL? Of course it will. But you can always go to another team where we just had a wonderful guest on from explain that he's loving it now from where he is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can
Yeah.
always find that. Me especially, I'll say from moving from QCC to over here, it's a totally different experience. I'm loving it. You know, even more now. So I think you can just ride it out, be a man up, and just do what you said you were supposed to do.
I agree with that. Goals officials, welcome, Tom, by the way, says sucking it up for 4 months is a lot. I don't know. I guess it depends on the situation. But, Nate, let me ask you this. Bo Martin Jr. in the chat said there should be a rule that you can't quit on your team during the regular season and sign up for SFLM in the same season. I'm not sure if that's the rule or not. We may have to go to Charles. He probably knows the rules better than anybody else. If you miss progression during the season and get cut, you should be forced to sit out at least one SFLM season. Nate, what's your take on that? How do you feel about what Bo Martin Jr. just said in the chat?
I 100% agree with that. Look, I'm going to echo Cam here. When Cam talks about contracts, he's like, look, it's one season.
Right.
It's not like you signed up for multiple seasons. Yeah, okay, so whoever drafted you didn't live up to their expectations. Like Albert said, it's one season. Suck it up. Go through the season, and then you can move on. Not only does leaving your team hurt you as far as progressing and staying with the team for an entire season, but that reputation is going to follow you wherever you go around the SFL. You're not going to find a team that's going to see what you just did to the previous team and want to sign you the following season. Their mindset is going to be like, let's say you're not gonna do the same thing to us when we sign you.
Right, you're gonna get a reputation. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, so if you're in this situation, I understand. So I am close to one of the two situations because of family circumstances, and one of the two cases is because personal reasons.
Which is understandable.
If that is the case, then that is very much understandable. Take care of your family first. SFL can wait another season. However, the second reason that I heard, they just pretty much any other way to say it is just MIA. The dude just went MIA, and they don't know where he is or what he's doing. They're trying to figure out. So he's missed a couple progressions, and he just hasn't been back and hasn't told anybody on the team, any owners, coaches, anything, where he is or up with the team or what's going on after missing those two progressions. Look. Maybe you have a difference in philosophy with the team that you're on. Again, suck it up. It's one season.
Right.
You can move on at the end. I just feel strongly about that.
We have two GMs and an owner, and I know not everybody knows all of the rules, but does anybody know if you do quit during the season or you miss progressions and get cut, are you allowed to go to the minors the next season automatically, or do you have to sit out a season? What is the rule? Albert, go ahead.
So what happens if that does happen? You get a player that leaves because it's happened. You can either A, keep your player, but with those stats, or B, restart a new character down in the SFLM.
Okay.
There's no penalty to doing that because yet again you're paying to play. So that's that stand where you're going to be like, it's your character, you do what you want. Same thing with the retirements. It's almost the same thing of people coming out of retirement, going back to retirement. It's the same rule across the board with that.
Okay. Charles, you look like you had something to say. Did you want to add anything to that?
I mean, no, not really. I'm curious to hear what the details are.
Right.
Around, is there multiple players that this happened to this season?
Yeah, apparently one for personal reasons and one just because it sounds like, and again, just for the record, for legal reasons, I'm speculating here, but it sounds like the person was just unhappy with the position he was playing and with the team and wanted to bounce and start over in the minor league. But again, if you're going to do that, I say wait till the offseason. Don't do it 2 weeks into the season.
I mean, and the other thing is you're always going to have to answer that question.
Right.
You know,
And
it's like
there's a
quitting
third
job.
one too.
You're quitting a job. You have to always answer the question, why'd you quit?
Mike?
There's a third player too.
Oh,
Sorry.
Thank you, Yogi.
There's another one that's ghosted another team, a running back that's ghosted, and nobody's had any contact with. So there's 3 right now.
Gotcha. Art Vanderlei, I always tell you what to do, so zip it. Mike, let's bring it back to you, bro.
You said a running back, Yogi?
Yogi?
Yes. Well, I didn't hear the question.
Charles?
A running back. I was going to do a pseudo joke, but I was
And my take on it, if you want it.
Yeah, go ahead,
I'll
Yogi.
give you 10 seconds. Is you're costing yourself a season of progression too, and that's what this whole thing is built upon.
Mike,
if you bail on it.
Yeah, go ahead, Yogi. I'm sorry.
Mike.
I'm done.
Yeah, that's okay. Mike, you got the last word on your own segment there, buddy. See what you did? You opened up not only did you open up a bag of chips, you opened up a can of worms, bro.
Yeah, this was a great bag of chips, man. I'm glad I was here for this, Dave.
Did you eat the whole thing already?
No, I still got a couple Doritos left. Dave, you hungry?
I am actually. Can you mail that to me?
Yeah, here, just
I
take it.
Yeah, thank you, bro. Thank you. Appreciate that. How bomb would that have been if I had nacho chips sitting here? And I just
that would have been cool. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good points, and I think the biggest one is why give up all that progression that you could have added onto your player before the next season. I mean, not to mention the fact that you're not just screwing the owner or the coach of the team that you're on, but you're screwing all the other players on the team as well.
Right. Yeah, Wink, I'm sorry, Winkler in the chat. I think that's kind of what Yogi was saying too. Mike, go ahead and wrap up, and then we'll move on. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously there's going to be that exception to every rule, and I love the player on my team that happened to have been in this situation a couple times. He's a great guy, and I wouldn't want to be on this team without him. So yeah, that was all that in a bag of chips this week, Dave.
All right, Mike, thanks for that. Thanks for not only bringing a bag of chips, but bringing a can of worms. Can't wait to see what you bring next week. Have a great week and good luck this weekend, man.
Yes, sir, Mr. 2-0.
Take it easy, Mr.
And watch your hands because that nacho cheese gets all over your fingers.
Yeah, and it gets under your fingernails. Okay.
Or lick your hands.
Okay. All right. Let's move on. Thank you, Michael. All that and a bag of chips.
Texas after hours.
Oh my God, we're not even after dark yet, and this guy's licking his fingers.
After dark, sorry.
Unbelievable. Hey, real quick, we're getting ready to go into our last segment of the night, which is Yogi. But I also wanted to remind you, please do not leave after Yogi because we do have some Lone Star breaking news. I teased it last week, and we will be announcing it at the very end of the show tonight. So please stick around. That being said, it is time to move on to Yogi. What's up down south, Yogi? And this is where Yogi comes in and lets us know what's going on in the South Division, better known as the Tex-Mex Division in the SFL. And Yogi, I already know you're here because we heard you, so take it away.
Is this where I announce what the breaking news is?
Negative.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I was jumping.
Yeah, and then right after that's where you get fired.
Again?
Again. Dude, I fire Yogi like every other week, so.
All the time. Yeah, that was a hot topic by Mike there. I'm sorry I had to jump in there.
No, that's fine, bro.
Third one.
No.
It was the third one.
I agree. It is a hot topic, and, if somebody did that to our team, we'd be pissed.
My gosh, it's a 1-year contract.
Yeah.
Like you said,
One
suck
season.
it up,
It's
progress,
not even
and set yourself up for your next team. Yeah, exactly.
It's not even a year. It's only a season. All right, go ahead.
Exactly. All right, back to the down south. It's cold down south anyway. We had some interesting games this week. Mexico City played QCC. It was a very good game. It was very snowy at that game. I think that helped QCC out a lot. It was actually, they were wearing throwback uniforms, the Gorillas versus the Knights. It was pretty cool to see that because I wasn't around to see that when they were actually playing.
That is cool.
The key player of the game was Judah Dorgan, who is our best friend right now. He went 6 for 6 on field goals. That was very heavily weighed into the final score. And the other kicker missed one because of the snow. He slipped and then he missed another one late in the game that could have cut the score back down to 7 points and would have made the ending a little bit different. But anyhow, QCC prevailed 32-22, which drops Mexico City down to 1-1. Baltimore went to Houston. Tough opening schedule for Houston. Houston lost 27-6. Dave Burr threw 4 interceptions, and Wigmore went 33 of 38 for 358 yards and 2 touchdowns. So that was just a rough schedule for Houston to start the season. They dropped to 0-2. Fort Worth had hosted DC. It was Reno was very poised again for Fort Worth. That was a good pick by them, and it's a good lesson to these young quarterbacks in the SFLM that 3 seasons in the minors is not the end of the world, and look what he's built himself into. He's come right into the league and looked very good. It wasn't enough as DC prevailed 27-24, but it was a great game. Benny the Butcher had a sack with 3 minutes left in the game. There was a big play in that game. They got the ball back, and Pawtee kicked a 34-yard field goal with 27 seconds left. And then we had the play. Stephen Hacker got a long play, and he celebrated out the rest of the clock. They never got another playoff because he was out there hamming it up, doing his best Antonio Brown impersonation. But it was a very good game. And, of course, the Lone Star is 2-0. It's early in the season. 2 games is not a really good barometer for the season, but I'll take where we are, and I'm sure a couple of teams would love to not be where they are. Poor Fort Worth has lost 2 heartbreakers.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Total of 6 points for 2 games. I've been there. We've been there. They'll turn it around.
Yeah,
But that's where the South stands right now.
Yeah, to be 6 points away from being 2-0 and being 0-2, that's got to hurt, man. And I hope Fort Worth can get over that hump.
I believe they will.
Yeah, a lot of good guys over there too. All right, Yogi, thank you for letting us know what's up down south, Yogi, in the Tex-Mex division, and we'll see you next week, bud.
Thanks for having me, bro.
You got it, bro. All right, folks, we're going to go into wrap-up mode, and then we will have our breaking news at the very end here. We like to close every show with reminding everyone about Evan Lacey, Van Lacey's son. Go to Find Our Missing. Actually, I have a better pick here I'm going to use. For those of you who don't know, Evan Lacey went missing on December 17, 2019. He was found January 3rd, 20. They still have not found. It has been ruled a homicide. They have not found the guilty party. You can, if you have information or you would like to receive information on this, you can go to findourmissing.com/EvansHope, and you can also go to Find Our Missing Evans Hope on Facebook. The second thing that we like to talk about on the show is we like to give our respect to veterans, especially those who are having a hard time. We support Objective Zero. We've had a relationship with them here at Lone Star now for a few seasons, and we appreciate the work that they do to help prevent veteran suicide. So if you're interested in information on that or want to help out, you can go to objectivezero.com and take a look at that. Plus, they also have an app you can take a look at. Special thanks, as always, Ace Fennick, Bo Martin Jr., Frank the Franchise Wade, Benji Matson and Chad Rowland for coming on, John DeSantis for coming on, Gunny, Mike All, Bullet Boletsky, Nate Hall, Yogi Barr, Albert, Fab 56 Freddy, and both the London Knights and DC Dragons for coming on to the show. Here's what's on tap for next week. You ready for this? We'll have our DC recap, but we have a bye week. So we're going to let you, the viewers, the party people, we're going to put a poll up in the Discord channel, and we're going to let you choose which game you want us to recap, do the highlights on, and get guests on to interview, since we don't have a game. So it's going to be all up to you. I think there's 8 games in week 4, so we'll put those in the Discord, and you guys can vote on those. Of course, next week we'll have Mail Call with Gunny. Frank the Franchise Wade will be here with his segment. All Dat and a Bag of Chips. It'll be led off with bullet points. Nate will be here with his great plays. Yogi will be here with What's Up Down South Yogi. And, of course, Fab56 Freddie. Charles, that it's getting harder and harder to say all the time. Farewell, which we'll get after we talk
He
about.
also goes by Mr. Fabulous.
He does, which would probably be a lot easier. I don't know. Bo Martin Jr., great idea. How'd you come up with it? Was that you? Oh, Bo Martin. I was talking to somebody today, and I gave credit to Yogi. So Bo Martin Jr., that was Bo Martin Jr.'s idea to let the party people vote on this and decide which game we're going to recap and which guests we're going to have on next week. All right, that brings us to our breaking news. I want to make sure I don't screw this up, so give me a second here. I announced last week on the show that we would have breaking news this week. I teased it a little bit by reminding you guys that we had a few goals in the offseason going into about the first quarter of this season. The first goal that we had here at Lone Star was the LSG rebranding, which everybody has seen that happened several weeks ago, so that's already done. The second was to get this show up and running, the Road to Glory, and now we've done a couple shows here, so this is up and running, so we can put a check mark by that. Here is the breaking news, folks. This is the third leg of the trifecta, which we've added a fourth leg to that I'll talk about next week. Apparently, work never stops around here at Lone Star with Charles, the slave driver. But the Lone Star Glory, as of 5 o'clock Eastern earlier this evening, now have a brand new store, and it's called the Lone Store. And it is you can go to www.lonestore.myspreadshop.com, and there is a tremendous amount of gear. We've got gear for every single logo. We already have gear for 8 players. We plan on doing all 23 players. It's going to take some time to get everybody on there. But Lone Star now with their own store. I'm going to actually even put the link here in the chat so you guys can have that. And then we're going to have some more breaking news either next week or the week after. We've added a fourth leg to this whole spiel we're doing over here in Lone Star. But please go visit the store if you want some Lone Star gear, if you want some Axis gear, any players from the team. And I know it's competitive, and most of you guys already play on other teams. I get it, but we felt it was time for us to get our store rocking and rolling. And I do want to give credit where credit is due, and that is to both the Louisiana Revolution franchise and the Atlanta Swarm franchise. They were the first 2 teams to go out there and do the spread shop stores with all the alternate products that we either couldn't get on Sector 6 or they were too expensive or what have you. And Louisiana led the way, and then Atlanta. And if you remember on our previous show, I did have Atlanta gear that I bought from there. And I guess I just wanted to make sure that, we give props where props are due to Louisiana and Atlanta for leading the way on this. And now we have our store at Lone Star. So it is called the Lone Store. And so please check it out. Appreciate that. Winkler, when does it stop being breaking news when it happens every week? Dude, it's something new every week. That's breaking news, bro. Breaking news every week. We're like better than CNN, man. I'll tell you. I guess that brings us to the last part of the show.
Real quick. Sorry, Dave. Sorry to jump in. Another update is probably as early as next week, Sector 6 will be updated with the new branding for Lone Star as well.
Oh, good. You heard back from them? Good. Perfect. All right. So there you go. We'll have all our new branding will be in the Sector 6 store as well. And yes,
and if you want to vote, Al said he's willing to model any of the clothing that's on either store, and he's especially looking forward to modeling the tube top.
Yes. Yeah, I heard that rumor too. On that note, maybe we should get out of here where we get to the point where it's now time to say goodbye, and we bring our good friend Fabulous Freddie, Fab56 Freddie, to do his farewell. Freddie, take it away, my friend.
Well, good evening, everybody. And like we say here, Danny Don, turn out the lights, the party's over. They say that all good things must end. Let's call it a night, the party's over. Tomorrow starts the same old thing again. Good night, SFL.
Good night, SFL. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. That wraps up ride number 2 on the road to glory. Welcome, Stay Connected Studios. Good to see you sneaking in there. Didn't see you earlier. Thank you to my panelists, Charles Doherty, Nate Hall, Albert Begin, our guests, Chad Rowland, Benji Matson, and John DeSantis, along with Bullet Boletsky, Frank the Franchise Wade, Gunny, Yogi, Mike All, and anybody I forgot. So thank you, everybody, for being on the show. Thank you for being part of the show. Thank you, all the party people in the chat. We will be back next Wednesday, but next Wednesday's show is in your hands. Tomorrow, we will put the voting in. I might even get it up tonight, depending on how motivated I am. And we will get the 8 games in there for you guys to vote on and let us know who do you want us to have on the show, who do you want us to interview, do clips, highlights, and all that stuff for ride number 3 on the road to glory. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Good night, Art Vandelay. Good night, the Greg Soto, Bob Funk, Deuce, all you guys, Bo Martin Jr., I see everybody. Bulldog, saw you come in earlier. Thank you, everybody, for being in the chat. We'll see you next Wednesday right here on this Twitch channel, 9 p.m. Eastern, next Wednesday on the road to glory. Good night now. Have a glorious week.